This is a HeadGum podcast.
This week on the program, well, get your soft pack cigarettes and your 6-pack of bad beer because we are talking any which way you can, right? That's what it's called? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Zadek, a member of the Orangutan Hall of Fame.
Eric Siska.
Chris Cabin coming from Monkey Heaven.
And we ape movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Ape Movies. Thank you for tuning in, as always. That's right. We are going back to Clint and Clyde country.
Oh, yeah.
I should enunciate better. Clint and Clyde country.
You really want to be careful with Clint Eastwood.
Well, no, you're
Clint.
You're close to it. Clinton lied. You're right. You're right. You're right, Andrew. He did.
Better lock this movie up.
Hey, my name's Clint. Try and find me. Where am I?
A couple folds later. And hello.
Oh,
The
man.
answer is always in a secret room watching Gene Hackman get it on.
Why don't you lash me with your tongue, big boy?
Oh, God.
Get back here, Hackman. Can you handle the real stuff?
Don't forget about me, Clint. The most important part of the whole enterprise.
Speaking about stimulating things, we have a virtual live show on April 20th. That's
right.
Thursday.
That is this
For
Thursday.
the high holy holiday.
Absolutely. We're going to be talking another monkey movie.
Yes.
That's right. King Kong 2005.
Eric-
Peter Jackson.
Eric will be there stimulating gorillas, as
yeah.
we've always said. Well, actually, the greatest gorilla that's ever been, King Kong.
That's
Yeah,
right.
he's the greatest ape.
There will be
Although we were talking about this, Clyde might have beat him at the box office.
He might have.
We will get
perhaps,
those
perhaps.
numbers,
But
for
there
the
will
show.
be a finger cam at the virtual live
There will
show
be.
this Thursday. Moment.co/We Hate Movies. Get your tickets now and join us for a night of King Kong revelry. I almost said Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
That's his little brother.
He'll come up in conversation for sure.
Absolutely. I mean,
They're kissing cousins for sure.
and not a day goes by where I'm just not talking about Donkey Kong anyway in some fashion.
2 days from this episode.
That's right.
Tell your family, tell your friends, bring them
because
all out.
They can all come, man. That's the brilliance of a virtual live show.
Well,
Yeah,
for this
absolutely.
episode specifically, we really need to. That's the.
Oh, yeah. Hang on.
Of course, yes.
Just get the-
Suit up, Steve. Oh, yes. This is, get the stats out here. Any Which Way You Can. From 1980, directed by longtime stuntman and friend of Clint Eastwood,
Hell
Buddy
yes.
Van Horn. He directed 3 motion pictures, all with Clint Eastwood. This movie, and he also, I'm presuming, filled in for Clint here, like on the directorial chairs for these movies. This movie, the Deadpool and Pink Cadillac, just like,
Right.
yeah,
Oh,
you
man.
do it, buddy. You can do it.
Now, I know for a fact that Quentin Tarantino saying this film critic movie is going to be his next and last movie.
Yes.
He's going to keep saying that. He should do a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where Rick Dalton is in a monkey movie directed by Cliff.
Yes.
Cliff is now a director, like, you know what I mean? All of the, because that's how he gets him back for all the shenanigans with the Manson murders. It's like, hey man, hey good buddy, you could direct me in my next picture.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
You know what? I say go experimental a little bit. Have Clint Eastwood play himself back in the old times.
Yes.
Have him do the
de-age that fucker.
You know what? Don't even. Just let him out there. Hey there, we're going to the strip to get some ladies.
Or that could be like the final. It's like he gets a letter and it's like Clyde has died. So he goes with son of Clyde, like out on the road for some reason. It's like this old ass skeleton and a healthy orangutan on the road, you know?
And when Clyde dies, he is very clearly gonna go.
Clyde is dead, by the way.
R.I.P.D.
In the universe, when Clyde dies,
Sure.
Philo is going John Wick on whoever he can blame it on.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if it's like a Waffle House manager, he's going after them.
Come, Mother Nature.
Well, he's got to be one of those guys. He takes Clyde to the animal hospital finally, like probably way too late.
Yes.
And the animal just dies there. And he's like, now I'm going to kill all these doctors.
It was that big city veterinarian.
Exactly.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't the 30 rack of Coors Light that this fucking ape was putting back every week.
We talked about it on our first episode, Every Which Way, because it's part of the Which Way-averse.
Which way, of course, yes.
Which I think just consists of 2 movies, but go ahead.
Right.
And then Anything Everywhere All at Once is part of that. Right?
It's true.
It should have been a monkey in that movie. That would
First movie, episode like 155 of this podcast, 1,000 years ago. We mentioned about the ape in this movie, the orangutan, beaten to death by its trainer.
Jesus, that takes me back.
Yeah, so that's something. Apparently, there was a documentary. Jane Goodall was involved in this book that they used for the documentary.
Oh, I thought she was pissed.
Dude, I thought he was about to say she was in on it. Just like it was like a pipe hitting Jane Goodall for some reason. Like, what did that fucking?
It is alleged it was beaten by its trainer to keep him docile. The trainer would spray mace in his face and beat him with an iron pipe wrapped in newspaper.
Well, that makes this movie a lot less fun.
And then eventually, he had a cerebral hemorrhage for stealing donuts from the craft service table.
Eric,
Wait, so he got killed the same way that Jack Nance from Eraserhead got killed?
100%.
He was stealing donuts. He's in the donut parking lot and got beat to death.
Los Angeles is known for its donuts. It is disputed by the makeup artist. I don't know what is the truth. I'm going to guess they mistreated it.
Sure.
Apparently, there was two. Buddha, who I believe is the one that got beaten to death, and then CJ was brought on after filming was completed to do publicity. Like, so it's like, oh look, it's the same one. Look, everybody, it's CJ.
Now, wait, is this for both movies or is this just for part 1?
For part 2. For this.
Oh, for
one.
part 2.
So the one you were watching on screen here was beaten with a pipe wrapped in newspaper for stealing donuts.
And this is what I'm talking about, man. I think I was saying on the Dunstan Checks In episode 2, like, I just don't think monkey movies should have been a thing.
Right.
Nope.
All right. The death blow was
here
an
we go.
axe handle.
I see.
Thank you.
But just around the house was an iron pipe
Eric,
with
stop
newspaper.
rubbing your nipples while you talk about this.
Also,
I beg of
That's
you.
what's making it weird.
Between Buddha, who was beaten to death, and CJ, speaking of, very similar to the plot of Dunstan Checks In,
That's
episode 2 weeks ago, because that was what happened with Samson and Dunstan.
The story, yes.
Oh, no, not the actual bug. The actual.
You're
ape.
right, though. The story, yeah. Oh, man.
Rupert Everett, some guy with goofy teeth, beat the shit out of this
Yeah,
ape.
it's very sad, when this stuff happens. Obviously, here abuse.
I'll make it happier. Here's where to cheer up the episode. Beers to you, my good buddy. The fucking soundtrack.
Yes, he's
of this
in
movie
monkey
is
heaven now.
awesome.
From monkey heaven. No, that's whiskey heaven. Sorry.
It starts with this fucking song that is Ray Charles and Clint Eastwood duetting, and the story of like the storytellers in the song, right? They're singing about like we were in Vietnam together. This whole fucking thing.
Now we're
I
in
wish-
Tucson, honky tonk, enjoying ourselves.
I wish they sang we were in Vietnam together. They say something a little different to describe that experience. But
Yeah,
yes.
he says like those South Asian boys, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and then the fucking
Yes.
theme song or the melody of the tune gets a little xylophone action right when we say South Asia, just in case anyone wasn't paying attention.
Look, you want a little bit of map. You want some finger pointing here. You got to know where to go.
But it's just so bizarre to hear Clint Eastwood sing. Just sing.
Yeah.
Oh, so wait, have you not seen Gran Torino and heard his beautiful singing
No,
voice?
I'm not.
Oh, it's
Gran
great.
Torino.
Oh, Koreans, Gran Torino and Koreans.
He
He's got something to
sings
say
the-
about them too.
He sings the theme song to that. And then I think Michael Bublé does a version over it. It's quite nuts.
That's a hard pass.
the mule having a threesome with some ladies.
It's great. He should do that for his next and final outing, right? Clint's back in the saddle.
He's gonna have one more crime. That's famous like Tarantino too. Like I'm just like, oh, this is like the 7th time Clint Eastwood's like, I'm done.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna quit it.
With Eastwood, you got to get like someone on deck to direct it in his place once he dies for insurance purposes.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
what
That
happened
would
to fucking Altman with
Right, yeah.
Very Home Companion.
Yes.
Get Cooper. Bradley Cooper would do that shit for him.
He certainly would
Yeah.
stand right in.
Sit shotgun. Yeah, so like we're watching our friends from the first movie, Philo, Clyde, and Otis.
Orville.
Sorry.
Orville, yes.
Driving to this. I guess you'd call it a match, is what we'd call it.
I mean, he's driving to like some sort of construction site, mining operation, where he's indeed going to fight a representative from the sheriff's office in, you guessed it, bare knuckle boxing.
This is where, like, if you're, I forget what the justified thing they're bringing back is. The prequel should be like Raylan Givens' father fucking like having to run these things like out.
Oh,
at that,
sure.
like, and like have to be the backup in case somebody like goes off on a bet.
Or Raylan Givens is just doing it now, dude. Like, what's he been doing since the show ended? Oh, bare knuckle boxing and construction
It just-
sites.
I'd like to
seems-
watch that. Take the shirt off.
Yeah, totally.
Just seems like a justified type of place where just like hardworking truckers and highway patrolmen are getting down to watch a fight.
Yes, you are right. This sounds more appropriate for fucking Kentucky or Tennessee. But we are in Los Angeles,
It's
the
so
Tennessee neighborhood of Los Angeles.
Absolutely.
See a Bakersfield, it gets a little
Sure.
oaky up there, I guess is the idea.
I think that's
Is that
the
true?
But we
idea.
don't get to Bakersfield towards later. Still, it's LA somewher, presumably.
That's how I live my life, man. It's LA somewhere, baby.
Weirdly, this is just Beverly Hills.
But it's awesome. Just the cigarettiness, the fucking
You
the
can
music.
smell this movie. You know what I mean?
The idea of going to a sporting event where both participants are wearing slacks is really enticing to me. Like,
Yeah,
both
just
dudes-
like some
just
Dickies work pants.
Yep.
Absolutely. I love, because you don't really know what's going on at first, and like the first interactions with people you see in this movie are like hillbillies fucking with cops, like actively fucking with cops.
This was a different era. This is when truckers outranked police.
Yes.
And I guess we got to get back there in this country. This was a balance, and it worked. You'll see Philo and Clyde tackle with the police and come up on top throughout the entire film.
They're buffoons.
franchise.
They treat them like buffoons.
Yeah,
That's
this
rightly
is
they
a-
should.
It's
The
an
idea-
ACAB movie. Yeah.
Well, because the idea, at least in the 70s, again, weird as 1980 pre-Reagan, just about pre-Reagan,
Ooh.
is that this is the working man was against the cop. The cop was against the working man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The cop is trying to fucking tangle you up and give you a ticket, et cetera, et cetera.
You just have to watch the movie Convoy.
Yes,
The
exactly.
movie Convoy is all you need to understand, like, American sociopolitical relations at the time.
Cops are always fucking up your day, no matter what.
Well, look at Smokey and the Bandit as well.
Yes.
You know, Buford T. Justice, quite a caricature of the highway cop, and it extends through all these other sweaty ass, summery feeling movies.
You know what? I know there were plenty of them made. This was even made afterwards. But I do kind of have to point the finger. Well, I guess not, because it's like I was going to Serpico, like being like now because it did so well.
Yeah,
like,
but Serpico is anti.
I mean, it was anti, but like that the
It's
hero cop was
the
there. Like, he is a
blockbusters,
hero
right?
cop.
The 80s blockbusters where every action hero is like, yeah, I'm a cop.
But I'm trying to
right.
think of who like was like an actual like you saw the beat cop like because they
John
say
Mc-
that and
John
like
McClane,
John
you know.
McClane's not really doing like cop work. He's an action hero.
RoboCop. Oh, that's critical too.
No, I mean
That's
like
also a bit critical, yeah.
I'm trying like Lethal Weapon, I guess.
Lethal
Yeah,
Weapon
I guess
for
that's
sure.
the one.
Yes.
As far as what, like the start of like
Well, like
propaganda?
K-
yeah, like,
K9.
yeah, sure.
It's a little late.
What
Propaganda.
started the avalanche? I'm trying to think.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
But I mean,
I'm just interested.
It's just because that
TJ
was
Hooker television,
Oh,
really.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Hill Street Blues and all that stuff. You're right.
Right.
It did come in through TV.
Streets of San Francisco.
Yeah, like
Makes
it comes
sense.
in through TV week in, week out. You're watching
All of those old ass
Adam
12 and all
12,
that
thank
shit.
you.
Where,
Yeah.
like those are like, yeah, the cops
Now we're
on
getting into
patrol.
Police
Dude,
I haven't heard of
Academy.
huh?
Police Academy.
Oh well, yes, but that's the 80s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
you know
what
what's
we're
funny
talking
is I
about.
wonder if you could track whatever it is inside of fucking Clint Eastwood filmography. Like,
Well, I mean, Dirty Harry, but Dirty Harry's a
Best.
bad cop.
Yeah.
But we
Here's
like
a good-
it.
yeah, we like
kinda
him, yeah.
like
But
it.
But you
like
need
that.
a bad cop to catch a bad criminal.
Exactly.
You understand
True.
that?
There's that whole thing of just like Dirty Harry definitely would be have a Punisher mud flap for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I think this is
that Marvel Comics character, the Punisher.
I saw a Punisher skull, Blue Lives Matter pin on a train conductor today. I'm like, come on, guy.
Jesus,
come up with
dude.
your own little thing.
And you know what
You know what,
sucks
dude?
about that?
ATAB, all train conductors are bad.
Well, you know what that means, dude? That is what. All right, I'm gonna put a guess in my head. I'm gonna ask you right now. What did this guy look like?
He was a white guy.
No, I know, but no shit. But give me a little more to work with.
Oh boy, geez, that kind of nondescript American mix. I don't know.
No,
So
just height, build, that kind of
Was
shit.
the
okay.
shirt struggling for structural integrity?
Here's what I'm getting. Here's what I'm getting.
5'6" to 5'7".
Yeah.
Okay.
Crew cut.
Okay.
Yep, here's what it
completely
is.
shaven.
Here's what it is exactly.
Probably
This dude,
52, 55.
here it is. This is exactly what it is. That dude is a guy who tried to be a cop and failed, which means he's too much of a fucking maniac to be granted a slot on the NYPD. You fucking look out for that guy riding the rails.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That is a rocket ready to launch. with
A
that
Bernie
guy.
Getz type.
Yep.
Which is what you love. So they're by the way, this monkey. By the way, so I will say if I have a critique of this movie, which I have a few.
It was beaten
number
to
one
death,
with
yeah.
a bullet is not enough. Clyde, I think he disappears for
Yep.
large swaths
Yeah.
of the movie. The beginning of this movie, he is gambling. He is a gambling ape, which has now turned again. That's back in the 70s and 80s. We had gambling apes. Now we have gambling apps. Very different things.
Oh, nice one, dude.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Hey-o,
I
excellent.
I had a shovel and this thing was coming in the episode.
I
don't
dude.
care.
I love it.
No, I mean you're totally right, dude. Like a gambling ape, kind of great. Like you would almost wager that's what people are coming to see, buying a ticket to this fucking
Yes.
movie. And when it becomes like Clint Eastwood boxing the dude who's also kind of his friend to get back at the mafia,
Question mark.
you're
question
just
mark.
sitting there like, where's the ape?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's always Eastwood saying, "Oh, he's going to do something," and then it's not really monkey based. It's not orangutan based. Like
Yes.
him
Yeah.
ripping the cars apart. It's just watching stuff fly
And
in
that
the air.
is sort of like the first one too. It was still about Mr. Philo Doe. Is that his name? Right?
Philo Beto.
Philo Doe.
Philo Beto.
Yes, he's a Greek gentleman, Philo Doe.
You washed up on these shores. His name
Oh
is Philo
God! Didn't know I was playing ethnic in this movie.
Doe.
But he's the ape is gambling, and one thing he does, like, I'm gonna go fight this guy. There's a funny gag where it's like on the other side, the cops have this ringer, this guy who's beating up everyone in his Marine Corps. The joke keeps being like, yeah, but he's no Marine. Like he's even tougher.
Yeah, I
than a
ain't
Marine.
no Marine. He's tougher than a Marine or whatever. So he could beat this cop who was a Marine and beat all these people. What I was trying to get at before is the first movie is also about Eastwood going around boxing
Yes.
people, and
Yes.
Clyde is sort of just there.
Right? Yeah, I guess that's fair.
But this is a bare knuckle boxing franchise.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
like this is more of a Rocky thing where you're building up to a big fight.
Yes.
And they're buddies. Like the Wilson, the guy he's going to fight eventually,
Yeah.
is his buddy through most of
Joe
this
Jack
movie.
He
Wilson.
certainly is. Yeah.
The
Something
honor
else.
amongst fighters. Yeah, it's very nice to see.
But can we just talk about one thing? I don't know if we touched this on the last time we talked about this franchise, which was 100 years ago. And
Yes.
millions of brain cells ago.
almost a decade. Yeah.
The and I guess too, I've had like pugilism on the brain, like just saw Creed 3 a couple weeks ago and whatnot. The notion of bare knuckle boxing as the event, and I gotta hand it whoever did the Foley work on this movie. The fucking fight scenes, dude, you are just hearing roast beef hit ham, and
It's
it is
great.
really something.
We need more of it. I'm gonna say. I
Yep.
think with this needs to bare knuckle boxing is such a cool thing to watch. Like I honestly think
you
you should
talking
make.
IRL or in the pictures, dude?
Hey, you pick them. Which way you want to go?
Well, because I'm saying we're going out on the road in a few weeks. Maybe we should try to find
if somebody
I
wants
would
to
love
point
to.
me to it, I absolutely will go and lay down $20
Los
on a fucking
Angeles,
fight.
we are going to be playing a show near you. I'm guessing maybe San Francisco has it too.
They must.
California, get at us. Let us know where we can get to some underground fighting.
Well,
range.
no. I don't want it point the point of it is it's got to be outside.
Got it.
I want that bare knuckle like
Okay,
you want it to be
above ground fighting
please.
rings, everyone.
You want it to be like a circle of trucks.
Yes,
dudes are
that's
fighting.
something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I meant underground is illegal. But yeah.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Not
I'm
subterranean
sorry.
mole people fighting.
Oh my
each
God,
other.
sewer fighting.
I thought you
will
were talking
say-
about a Fight Club situation.
Frankly, if there is some interesting boxing going on when we're in LA or something, I would go see.
right.
I just-
at the
here's
end
the
of
thing, I'm gonna be-
Babylon.
I'm going to be really clear about this. No bum fights. I want both men to at least have some sort of housing that they can return to.
absolutely.
And that they are doing this of their own free will.
I
Yes,
don't want
yes.
the prize at the end of the fight to be a bottle of hooch. Okay,
Yeah,
right.
like
I-
a check.
This is what the if they're gonna no. You know what? Whatever the next John Wick kind of movie is, it should be based in the world of bare knuckle boxing rather than gun kata.
Ooh,
Yes, or cockfighting.
Or well, look,
this is human cockfighting,
It
essentially.
is,
Also,
yeah.
we've already made
Get those cocks out. Let's fight them.
we've already made the greatest fighting movie ever made, Cockfighter.
With Warren Oates.
Yeah.
But
Phenomenal.
That's
film.
true. It's a great movie. Warren Oates.
here's something, and we see Clint Eastwood jogging a little later in the movie, which seems to be the only exercise he gets, and lifts
10 miles a day.
and lifts an engine block. So that's a lot of core activity there. You get your biceps going.
Sure.
Does anyone know how to block? Everyone
That's
is just
what
like
your
punch
face
me. in
is
the-
for, dude.
That's I know that
You
everyone's
block
just
with
taking
your
it right
face
to the
and
face.
you hit with your hands,
Yeah.
dude.
No one blocks in this movie. It's kind of staggering.
Hey, Philo, you sure you want to be jogging in jeans?
Dude.
What exactly is the thought process? I like to have my thighs scratched
We
up
were
a bit.
stronger back then.
Well,
We got
we-
a bunch of soft boys here.
We learn at the end of this fight that he has to stop because he's liking the pain. So maybe that's what the jeans are
Yeah.
about.
Oh,
You
yeah.
eat it- You eat it up like candy, that
Yes.
pain.
Yeah, I go jogging 10 miles a day, and my nutsack's in a vice the whole time. It's a denim vice while I'm exercising.
And that seam, it just kind of rubs back and forth. It's almost like a saw on your balls going back and forth, that little middle seam there.
Hey, Sandra Locke, things have changed around here in the bedroom, if you understand me. I eat pain like candy, so, I have a raw scrotum. Yes, I'd like to see some CBT. That doesn't stand for cognitive behavioral therapy. It's cock and ball torture.
I'm going to put on a bulletproof vest before we can have the sex next time. And you're going to shoot me directly in the heart. And then I'm going to fuck the shit out of you.
What a way to go, man.
Actually, kind of fucking hot. Honestly, my God.
So he lays waste to this dude. It's like the cops try to do like a he ain't down, blah, 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 or he ain't had enough. And Clint's like, he's had enough.
Yeah.
And where's Clyde?
Fucking ape is shitting in the police car.
How can you not love this guy? I mean,
Yes.
immediately, I mean, telling just a genius way to bring the audience to your hero right off the bat is like Clyde has been going as the fight has been going on.
Yep.
Clyde has been visiting a nice cop car here and just shit all over the front seat.
Oh man. It's a gag that pays off in the movie also multiple times. I appreciate that, of course. So right after this, he's like, yeah, Orville, I'm out, man. I'm starting to get a Woody in the ring, dude. It's no good for nobody. Hit me, daddy. Hit me.
Could you kick me in the nuts? I know it's illegal in the fight, but just, for shits and giggles.
Speaking of illegal fights, we get a cut cross country to NYC, baby. What kind of fucking crazy fighting must we do in New York if out in California these guys are fighting in construction? So, it's just the mafia, and it's a big glass cube, and it's weasel versus a snake.
Mongoose versus snake.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
No, yeah. We,
I don't know. These
Those
little
are the-
marmots, man, you know?
That's the natural enemy, right?
That's the Ricky Tikki Tavi fight, dude. You're betting on Rudyard Kipling shit.
Oh, shit.
No, we just love watching rodents get poisoned. we absolutely love it.
Little cameo here. Ken Lerner shows
Yeah.
up. A little love me some Ken Lerner.
Oh,
His
yes.
brother just passed away.
That's
sadly.
right. R.I.P.
Great.
David
Michael
Lerner.
Michael Lerner.
Michael, excuse me.
The best of the best.
Mayor Ebert in Godzilla 98, among other more legitimate
I mean,
things.
the studio head in Barton Fink is the one I always think of.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Sure,
Ken
yes.
Lerner, the first principal on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, eaten by his own students, which is fun.
Oh, right. He popped up in something we were covering recently.
He's always around.
Yeah, I don't know.
Law and Order, he's rife. He's just
Yeah.
everywhere there.
But anyway, so all these fucking Goombas are having this fight, and you're watching. I mean, this was real,
Yes,
right?
There's
You can't fake
Right.
this
I don't
in
see any
1979.
puppets. It's literally a snake biting a mongoose a couple of times.
Which is what they're naturally meant to do.
Sure.
right? You know, they're like, these are two guys that fight each other, so you put them together.
Oh, I guess you don't like Louis Buñuel, do you? You got a problem with this?
He's poking you in the chest. You don't like Louis Buñuel.
You don't like it, so a goat has to die. It's a masterpiece. What's wrong with you?
Here come the 1981 woke left coming at me for killing animals on my movies.
Why don't you just put another nail through my hand while you're at it?
And kids, we understand it is terrible. There shouldn't be animals shouldn't be murdered or maimed
For
the production of a film, but here we are.
There's a wild moment where, like, the dude who's got the mongoose, you know, he's on Team Mongoose, is like, oh, hey, fuck that, he's not going, the fight should still be going on. And then this guy who's Mr. Jim Beekman here, who's going to be like the big bad guy, kind of, but just more like the gambling organizer, I guess.
He finds himself in the morass of what the end of this movie is.
Yeah, he gets wrapped up in it.
It becomes like it's a mad world
It
in
does,
a way.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's no real antagonist at all.
But this guy says, well, your mongoose, he's like, your mongoose is going to be dead in 15 seconds.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like, oh, man.
That's 15 seconds for me to take my pants off and jerk off to your sadness.
I don't know. I mean, like, look, I grew up in the Bronx. There was the mafia around. I never saw any. I never walked in on any mongoose v snake battle.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So no one you knew were training mongooses or snakes
No,
at
not at all. No.
Well,
I've seen people do gambling pickups. Those were fun.
maybe you weren't curious enough,
No,
Steve,
yeah.
back then, you know.
Did you ever see a gambling pickup where the dude who was being picked up from wasn't quite ready to pay?
No, he was ready. He was really friendly about it. He had a little envelope. He's like, all right, thanks, buddy. Talk to you soon.
incredible.
Didn't you witness a Mystic River, too?
Yeah, I don't talk about that so often. Just some kid got in a car that he probably shouldn't have, and I was like, I don't know if that's legal.
That was the end of that kid. Absolutely. Chapter closed. But so these dudes.
Now I have to tell the story because that sounds.
Oh,
like a
yeah,
movie,
all
but,
right,
like,
yeah.
no,
I think you've told the story
I
on the
have,
show
but
before.
it was
It's all
a
right.
million
There's
years
new
ago.
listeners that want to
Sure.
hear the story about.
Yeah.
We've wet their whistle with animal cruelty. Let's talk about child abduction.
And Mystic River, all the new young
my
listeners.
phone had been turned off, which was the style at the time. So I was.
Now, you mean it's a landline phone?
Oh, yeah, we
No, but you got to explain.
Oh,
it.
yeah,
These- Look, we have, and we appreciate them, a lot of Gen Z listeners. And
Sweet,
we're
precious-
old farts.
That's
We've been
right.
doing this a
Since
while.
I was
We gotta-
13 years old.
Yeah.
My phone, the family phone had been turned off as it was, and I went across the street to use the payphone to call movie phone to find out when Spawn was playing.
A movie
This
phone,
is
kids,
important.
it was literally the Fandango app into a phone line. You see.
Yes, and
you
you see-
dialed a number, and some dude went, hello, and you asked him about what was playing.
And a payphone used to be a thing that was on certain blocks.
And it was covered in bum piss.
Watch Seinfeld, you'll get both of them.
You could still make a call if you had a few quarters on you.
And
Which
a nose that didn't work.
quarters were a currency denomination. It was introduced by the Federal Reserve
and a
Mint.
street.
It's something you do. So whatever. I'm listening to when Spawn and like Spawn is playing at, and this guy, and I'm right in the corner, and I see this kid like 13, 14 run, and then this car literally jumps on the curb and cuts him off.
Like Popeye Doyle was
And
driving.
one Italian guy comes out and says, hey, you think it's funny to hit my car? You think it's funny to hit my car? And the kid's like, I don't know. And he's like, get in here right now. And the kid got in the car and they drove away. Spawn will be playing at Bay Plaza, 8:30. And I'm like, got it, hang up. And I did see Spawn that night. And I don't know what spawned from that kid.
Were you drawing in my cement? Were you drawing in my cement? Get in this car. Get in this car.
In retrospect, I probably should have called the cops, but in the days.
And
of
then a few
yore-
days later, you said that the whole neighborhood had all these posters of missing child.
That part is a fake part of the story. There were no candles on that part of the
And
street.
you didn't want to get
either.
in trouble, so you didn't mention anything.
There were no murals at your local school.
Steven, I'm begging you. Was that my son in there?
Listen, he probably got, punched in the face a couple of times. Who knows what happened?
It's not that mafioso's fault that the kid then fell out the car and died from head wounds.
You know what he probably did? He probably drove him home, and he said had a word with his father. It's
Right.
Like, listen,
Yes.
your son was being a real piece of shit
But
in the street.
it's none of our business.
Sure,
Whatever this man did is none of our business.
Steve's totally right, though, man. That guy, that gentle mafioso, they're not going to hurt a kid. He took him home into the house. He said,
Yeah.
"Where's your father?" Some loser came outside. Then that guy got garroted.
Now, do you have a sporting goods store? Do you happen to
Something
need
we could
some?
aggressively take over the finances
Do
from.
you need some borrowing? I think so. Are you a poker man?
Oh, you're not going to see sport tonight, kiddo. No one's seeing sports.
So anyway,
Yes.
this dude is like, I've heard of this Philo Beto fella out in California. What do we say we get him to do a fight with our guy, Mr. Jack Wilson?
It's so weird, the anglicized. I guess it's sort of a thing to make it more appealing to the whole country. Like if these were Italian, because they're coded as Italian mobsters,
Yeah.
but they're all like Beekman and Jack Wilson and Paul whatever. You know what I mean? As
That's
opposed to
actually
like,
true. Not many olive oil sounding
yes,
names.
No.
even I'm trying to think of the big mobster at the end. I'll look him up too. If he maybe he has an Italian name, but maybe he doesn't.
Oh, yeah, the famed Italian mobster John O'Brien that they, they put at the end of the movie.
Oh yes, no. There is at the end Al Ruscio, the gray-haired guy who's played a mobster in everything. Played Tony Paoli Sr.
I see. Oh, that dude played a mobster in everything except for... Is he not also the manager of monks in that one episode of Seinfeld where he's like, "They are my daughters"?
Yes. Oh, and he's
Oh,
also
my God.
David Silver's grandfather in the episode.
Oh, when they go to the house, they're trying to have the house party or whatever.
Yes,
Ooh,
90210. Yeah.
But so that's like sort of the beginning of it, and
Now, whoever said "Mad World,"
That was
it's
me.
very accurate because I think
5
right around
points.
here is the is the introduction of I think real life married couple Logan and Anne Ramsey.
Yes.
Playing these like vacationing so and so's. Now here was the thing, because again, I did not re-listen to the episode, and I've not seen that first movie since whenever we did it 10+ years ago. Are these characters from the first movie?
no, I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
think
It's
so.
just that they're a funny couple that's
But don't
vacation
they-
in California.
Don't they carry themselves
Yes.
as such, especially because of that line where it's like, "Now look, Mildred, we're in California now."
Yes.
I was waiting for him to say,
Yeah.
"There's no way we're going to see that crazy chimpanzee." What?
Well, I guess this also establishes this movie is also like don't worry, folks, it's going to become a road movie eventually.
Yes.
The first movie is sort of a road movie as well. We eventually go to Colorado in that movie.
Oh, yeah, I guess
and
that's
here we
true,
go
yeah.
to Wyoming. But it's just that out west, dude, that free movement. They love it out
Well,
there.
But
It's
it's
also-
she sees a monkey's dick, we should say.
Oh yeah,
That's the first time they see them. Is he's like, "Oh yeah," she goes, "We're going to California. You know, I hear people are quite peculiar out there, or whatever." And he's like, "Yeah, whatever. It'll be fine, mother," or whatever. And then like she's looking out the window, and the three of our heroes are out on the side of the road, all taking a piss, Ape included.
Luther, they're pissing. Luther, the monkey pissed in front of me.
People don't piss in Iowa. We should go back home to
It's
Iowa.
true. Not on the road. I mean, that's I assume part of it is like, oh, I mean, because they show up again, and I think it's be like, here's you, audience. This is the Midwest kind of people.
Oh, yeah,
totally.
sure.
Because they're from Iowa, and like the whole thing is
The
like,
quote unquote real America.
yeah, and
Yeah,
and they have a hard time having sex. Don't you know?
Oh,
Andrew?
we will get to that. Don't you fucking worry about it, dude.
But they go to the local honky tonk they love.
If this honky tonk could have been just the whole movie,
Yeah.
because I think someone was saying this before we went on the air. Every time they leave the honky tonk after you get that taste, I just want to go right back to that honky tonk. It's the same thing in the movie Nashville. Anytime we're not at the bar
Yeah.
and someone's singing, I'm like, could we get back to that, please?
The way they advertise that Fats, there's a coming soon Fats Domino, but like there's a marquee out front, so I was like for a minute I was like, is that like a new dish they're serving from the
Fats Domino?
Is that like a loaded tater tots situation?
No, it's literally music legend Fats Domino in this movie.
Who is not who we next see. It's actually Sandra Locke.
To your credit, right? It's his name is displayed right next to steaks and cocktails.
We got steaks, cocktails, and Fats Domino.
That sounds like a great night to me.
I love the Fats Domino, no sour cream. Thank you so much.
So, do you want the spicy aioli and the beef brisket too? Okay,
all of that.
That's fine.
But so Sandra Locke is singing again at the bar, and they are. I believe at the end of the first movie they do break up, so you sort of see that your life's too crazy for me or whatever.
Much like their real relationship.
Oh, they had quite a disintegrated relationship there.
Oh boy,
that is no one's business on this show.
I don't know the answer, so I don't know.
No, it's none of our business.
But so like it's like, oh man, there's that lady that broke your heart. Do you want to leave? And Clint's like, no. Meanwhile, Clyde goes to the bar by himself. Much like like a college student, he likes to go to bars, get drunk, and make out with dudes. Totally fine. Clyde's finding himself.
Yes. He starts kissing this man and then takes his cigar.
And the guy is like, I think I like that. But this guy's he's into it.
Is this the jacked blonde guy?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's probably a thing where he sees this goddamn ape every fucking night.
Yeah.
You know?
Making his move. He's going to shoot his shot.
I think he's getting pissed off at first because he's yelling at the bartender. He's like, "You serving that fucking ape? I didn't mean to get a beer." And I think the bartender's got to be like, "Look, man, that ape is tipping me. You're not getting served because you're not tipping the bartenders."
I would be more like, what happens if this ape just starts to go fucking literally ape in this bar and rips us all apart?
Yeah, excuse me, can I talk to the manager? I just want to know what your ape freak out contingency plan is. I don't mind that he's here, but he might freak out.
There's a gun behind the register.
Yeah, that's the fucking protocol, dude. Pump action.
You just shoot that monkey in the head, which they did, and then they replaced it with what, CJ? For the,
CJ for the press tour.
It was a pipe, okay, Eric?
Okay, yeah.
Stop it.
Or an accent.
Stop
or
being
whatever.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, he makes out with this guy, and then then Clint and Sandra Locke kind of have it out a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little I ain't mad you left me and that's it. That's the end of that. Ain't gonna be talking about feelings around here.
I love pain like candy.
Yeah, give me some more of that nasty shit. I live off it.
Why do you think my closest relationship is with an orangutan?
Yeah.
He can't say anything.
Yep. Precisely.
I gotta see that, him getting some candy off that orangutan, getting beaten by it, be like, oh yeah,
slap me in the face, Clyde.
Throw M&Ms at me, you dirty ape.
Ma, I'm training for the next fight.
The next sort of it's a mad world intro is these fucking white supremacists that they really have it out for Philo Beto. And again,
they were the bad guys in the last movie.
They are okay. So this is at least carryover.
And we're like, oh, here comes the Nazi subplot. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, absolutely, man. And it's like nowhere near as charming as the Blues Brothers Nazi subplot.
Not at all. Even though they're same year.
Yeah, the Black Widows. These guys are.
Yeah, it is same year as the Blues Brothers. Actually, same release year. The Black Widows. The name of this biker gangs / neo-Nazis, which I mean that's kind of like interchangeable in a lot lot of the country.
PB&J, baby.
Mm-hmm. Not all biker gangs, man, but quite a
few. Enough. More than enough.
99.8%.
Yeah, enough of them.
Well, no, you see all those biker gangs, they have Nazi paraphernalia on them because they hate Nazis so much. You understand? They want to be reminded how much they hate Nazis by putting it on their jackets.
That's right. And like if you're collecting some plates,
sure,
you're just a billionaire trying to get those plates off the market.
So
real racists can't own them.
Well, yeah, you understand that having the Hitler in my this heart locket around my neck here, that's just because I hate him so much. That's because I denounce him. That's why he's so close to my heart. Because my heart is what were you asking again? I don't like him. That's what.
Long story short, Nazi bad.
I don't like him.
What was that guy's name? Harlan Williams? No,
Crow.
Williams.
Harlan Crow.
Harlan Crow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just mentioning the name.
Also a justified name.
That's true.
That is very true. For people in the future who have no idea what we're referencing.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, kids. A long time ago, there was a Supreme Court justice who was great big friends with a great big Nazi. It's totally cool. And don't worry, you guessed it, kids. Nobody did anything about it.
No one will ever do anything about literally anything. So I hope you're.
We're sorry your parents had you. Anyway.
That's ridiculous. People will make things worse. Stop that. Stop that nonsense.
very true.
Speaking of making things worse, Chris Cabin, excellent segue because once again, Ruth Gordon is in this movie.
Oh, dude, everywhere.
Just let her die.
I gotta tell you, Ruth, I just loved your work in that movie where you fucked a kid.
Yeah.
Watched Harry and Mid, Harry and Molly,
Harry and Mid.
Harry, I think that'd be Harry and Lowe.
I've actually never seen Harold and Maude.
It's good.
It's
Good
a good
movie.
weird time, dude. Hal Ashby, R.I.P.D.
Great music too.
Great soundtrack also. But she, she passed about 5 years on from this movie, and we were having a convo.
I thought you were going to say 5 years ago. I was like, what?
No. She's been dead for decades. Don't worry about it, Steve.
Did not live to see 9/11, and God bless her for it.
I think she died in like 1985, so like literally 5 years after the release of this movie. But we were having a conversation on the Mandalorian Half Hour recently with the guest starring appearance of Christopher Lloyd there, and Steve brought up like, should we be letting these old folks? Is it an against their will thing? Are we dragging them out? Is it for health insurance? Whatever. And like Ruth Gordon, it's just like, you really wish the services at those like Hollywood retirement communities were just a little bit better, because then maybe Ruth Gordon wouldn't have had to come out the house for Any Which Way You Can and debase herself.
It's bad.
It's
tough.
real bad.
The movie stops dead whenever she's in it. I mean, not this movie's fantastic, but like her bits are just like, what's that monkey up to? Where's her monkey money? Where is all the monkey money? It's like,
like it's more like she does help during the very fun car chase. Of course, is quite good.
Sure.
But like it's more like, Clyde, hide the money from Ma. Like, it's more like, I'm a little stinker and you're my monkey friend.
Right, because
hide Bob's medicine.
We're gonna steal some dollars out of her purse.
Put a pillow over Ma's face. I'm gonna go to the movies, Clyde, and you're gonna put a pillow over her face, and we're gonna be rich by the end of the night.
I have a single ticket to Empire Strikes Back, and when I get back, Ma better be asleep. Wink, wink.
Yes, I know. We made plans to see The Empire Strikes Back together, but killing Ma is way more important.
It's just an alibi.
I will buy the shovels on my way home. Stop bugging me about. I am the human here. I can do it.
And listen, I ain't calling it Empire whatever. It's Star Wars 2. I will be seeing Star Wars 2 tonight. I can't believe, Clyde, you're never going to believe it. Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father.
No, you didn't guess it from the trailer.
No, it's not Dark Victor. It's Darth Vader, you stupid ape.
There's something. So the representative from the mafia or whatever shows up. This guy who the way that he's delivering these lines, he is straight out of like a 1940s Hollywood production. He's hello there, Mr. Beto. I'm here to give you some news about 15 large, big boy, to fight Jack Wilson, you see.
Yeah, it is an interesting way of speaking. It's sort of like a traveling salesman.
It kind of, it's like traveling salesman and like with a dash of mafia.
Oh, absolutely.
Because everybody's just, once it really gets into Mad Mad World territory, which it does, everyone's a stock character. You know what I mean? And you want to know exactly who everyone is, so everyone's as big and broad as possible, including this guy who offers him 15,000 to fight, and he gets 10 more, or he gets 10 down,
10
and
down.
15 when he does the fight. No matter win or lose, he gets 25 grand. Which the math is like 100 grand. The inflation on that.
Oh yeah,
it's like 90.
That's awesome.
There's a great thing here. This guy.
By the way, you could beat this. Anyone who wants to beat the shit out of me for $90,000, you come. You give me the contract.
Oh, shit. All right, I got to go find an ATM.
How about $200, Steve? Come, friend discount.
No discount.
All right, like we're not gonna beat this shit here. What can I get for like just a swift one-time only kick to the stomach? You're already laying down, so you won't have to fall over.
How much? I think I have $5 in my pocket. How much
No,
for $5?
at least 4 digits, $1,000. You give me $1,000 and kick me right in the stomach.
Running start or stand still?
Running starts 1,500. Stand still's 1,000.
But what-
That's the menu we're dealing with.
Got it. Okay.
$5 can I like stub your toe? Like,
Yeah.
anything?
Can I stub your
Is there anything if I want you to wear a costume?
No, now we're talking.
Oh,
Fair enough.
costume would be perfect.
All right, if you're gonna kick him in the stomach while he's already on the ground dressed as Batman, that's a cool $6,000.
Thank you.
I
very
was thinking more train conductor hat, but like, hey, you take with what I can
with
get.
an All Lives Matter pin
Yes,
on
of course.
Oh man, so the mafia dude meeting the
Yeah.
ape is really funny. He gives a good holy shit.
it. Well, because like, you got to talk to my manager.
Yeah, or yeah, what is it like? Oh, give the money to my accountant.
Yeah.
This ape,
Now you watch your junk around him. He's liable to just pick it off.
he's a ball ripper.
He'll just take it.
FYI.
You won't even know it happened. You'll just go down and there's red dripping everywhere.
I mean, seriously though, man, like, could you just imagine you're talking to some dude, you're trying to do a business deal, and then he's like, and my friend here, and then there's a fucking loose orangutan, and there's no fucking cattle prod or trank
Nothing.
darts to be found.
Not even
He's
a
just
fucking collar on this thing.
He's just out in the world, like you and me.
Back then, you could just do that. You
Yeah.
could just have an ape and go on an adventure. I think in the first movie, it said he won it in a fight or
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
It's like the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Look, if he shows me his CPA license, I guess,
Yeah, sure.
then maybe I can do it.
So he's sort of like, he takes some money. He's like, yeah, all right, you got yourself a deal, blah, blah, blah. We go back to the honky tonk because it's a night. Is this where the monkey or the ape, excuse me, he's a chimpanzee.
Orangutan.
Yeah, I don't even have him. See, folks,
We don't know.
Yeah.
The orangutan goes, he's like, oh, Clyde is missing. And
yes.
he's back at the honky tonk.
I thought he was going to spend that 10 grand on booze.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
would.
So it's a bulk order.
Another order of fried plantains.
Ooh, all right. That's kind of a little tasty.
We're not supposed to serve this here, Clyde.
But so Eastwood, makes his way to the bar, and here he is, and it is. I think we're doing a little bit of fucking simian matchmaker here,
Yes.
because it's like,
knows.
oh, I'm at the watering hole. Come get me. Oh, now I'm sitting next to your ex-girlfriend.
Yes. She misses Clyde, and she reveals to Clint Eastwood that she's only been at this honky tonk. She knows it's the one he goes to. She wants to get back together with him.
Now, there's a weird line here in this conversation, and I want to read the room because I don't think I know definitively that this is what it is, but he goes, after she apologizes, he's like, oh, it's fine. It turns out I have a tolerance for a certain specific kind of pain. To which she replies, referring to like the heartbreak or whatever.
Sure.
To which she replies very bluntly, like, yeah, I have one of those too. And I was like, is this like a reference to like he's getting handsy or something?
Oh, I don't think so.
No, I just think it's like we both like, we're both old fucking working class country western folk.
We're used to getting kicked down by the man.
Yeah, all that
kind
kind
of
of
shit.
thing. Yeah.
I don't think it's Crash. I don't think we're tiptoeing into that.
Let's get into a car accident.
Uh-oh, my dad took a shit.
I actually could get you Jane Mansfield's car if you're looking for
Oh my
it.
God! Wait a second, I'm mixing up Crash movies. For once, we were talking about the Cronenberg,
The good
movie.
one.
Yes. Oh, my
Yeah. Nobody takes a shit in the Cronenberg Crash, as far as I can tell.
Later in the film, the Clyde does drag him from the burning car.
Yeah.
So presumably you get into some type of Crash Cronenberg stuff. You bring the ape with you. You get into that car accident, and if it's not as horny as you want it to be, and it's more deadly,
Yeah.
ape's there to drag you out.
Oh, okay, so it's kind of like a safety net.
Exactly.
Clyde, leave me alone. I gotta have my head hit the windshield, or I won't be able to get off.
I can't believe you dragged me out. I didn't even yell my safe word.
Yeah, but so he what were we doing here? Oh, So this is the end of this scene, like so many scenes in this movie, just gets played out by a full musical number. This is Fats Domino. He's tinkering away to whiskey heaven.
Like we no longer have good old-fashioned bare-knuckle boxing movies, we also don't have songs that just like are like, you know, drunk driving's pretty okay.
Like these don't exist.
Fats Domino's singing like, thank God that he drove me home last night because I wasn't driving that car.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
That's
Thanks for getting
awesome.
behind the wheel, Jesus.
You just black out. You wake up in your own bed. You see the car out the window. You're like, whoa.
That was definitely God's work. Definitely not the man below.
That's when the one footprint in the sand, Chris. He's carrying you, literally carrying your drunk ass home.
Every hungover step.
So this is where he's like, I'll give you a fucking ride, I guess.
To the YWCA.
Absolutely. And it's an interesting way that they do this here where like he pulls up. There's no establishing shot. It's just the car. And he looks up and goes like something like, oh, nice place or something like that. And she's like, you got a problem with it? Like, no, it's a roof or like whatever. And then you see that it's the YMCA. So that tells you like, clearly she's embarrassed about this. It's like the living situation, blah, blah, blah. And like, this is an amazing moment. Like in movies like this, where it's like, you're pushing 2 hours. You could have just done this all in the scene. It's one of those, like, he's like, all right, have a good night at the YWCA. And he drives off. And then he's like, never mind. And pulls around to go back to like get her out, and I'm like, you should have just stayed there.
Well, because he originally thought he was kind of getting cock blocked by Clyde here.
Yes.
Because like she was very much like, are you sure you don't want to come up? He's like, I've kept him waiting enough. I can't keep him in here with the windows down a little bit. He's liable to drive this fucking thing off. But so like, yeah, he's like, you know what, Clyde, you're going to watch tonight. So just prepare yourself mentally now.
So he's not allowed. It's a YWCA, so no men are allowed. They call the cops. This is not the first time Philo Beto has been called the cops on at a YWCA. It's the least loud version, which is good.
Yeah, the fucking attendant.
What the fuck are you talking about?
The attendant calls the desk and is just like, hello, police department? Yeah, code Philo. yeah, no, it's a Tuesday. I know, it's weird.
There's all these ladies who are like, ooh, a man.
Oh, absolutely. This is fucking horny hall right here, dude.
Oh, God. Yeah, he hides like under her bed, and the cops come and like, they open the door, and she's like, oh, what? I was sleeping. It's like, oh, sorry, ma'am. And then like outside the door, there's some congregation of women gathered, and one's just like, oh, you guys just think we all just want you or whatever. And this one lady's like, I do.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Starts making out with this cop with a mouthful of toothpaste.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Eat shit, cop.
And he's grossed out like he was just kissed by the lady gremlin. Like he's just like, I gotta get out of here.
Well, I mean, you don't know what the fucking status of these people are, dude. There's
Oh,
some fucking foot and mouth disease.
Also,
Sure, it's fine.
Lady Gremlin looking pretty.
Can get it.
Ooh, Robert Picardo
Would.
on the podcast. all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah. Let's just say she could get it. Yeah, for
Dude, I
sure.
saw somebody tweeted like something about the Lady Gremlin at Robert Picardo recently, and he like responded like kind of with good humor, like, "Oh, she's looking fabulous," these days," or something like that. I was like, "Yeah, you remember that your character was horny for a gremlin in Gremlins 2: The New Batch." Absolutely.
Well, he started to resist, but then he gave in and said, "Hey!" And that, oh my God, his facial expressions in that scene
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal.
are incredible.
Absolutely phenomenal. But this bathroom will be our boudoir.
But he's like, hey, come home with me. I've got extra room in my crazy fucking creepy house.
So here's how he sets this up. He's like, "We have an extra room at the house," and she's like, "Yeah, all right."
Well, she says, importantly, again, about the socioeconomic thing, I don't want any handout. And he says, it's not a handout. That's what you get from the government.
Yeah, handouts are what you get from the
A
government.
hand up is what you get from France.
Yep.
Hand up
okay.
your skin.
Yeah, you're getting fucking hand up your fucking underpants.
You want to go back to my place with my mom and my friend Orville, who lives there?
And my orangutan.
Who is absolutely going to watch us bone.
Oh,
Just-
yeah.
Be ready.
Orville, last movie, Geoffrey Lewis. I love Geoffrey Lewis whenever I see him in stuff, including
great.
this where he's wearing a wig or whatever.
Oh, dude, this rug.
I think he's wearing
Fantastic.
2 wigs. It's
Wig
somehow
on a
2
wig.
wigs, dude.
First movie, he's betting Beverly D'Angelo, and he's like a fully realized character.
No.
In this, he's nothing.
Well, yeah, he's a cartoon character. There's a gag right around here where he's like listening to the radio for like pick up things.
This is kind of fun.
And it's actually a pretty good, as far as schemes go, it's pretty good. And he has all the stickers for all the different tow trucks in the intro. He just like, that's 20 minutes away. I can make it in 5.
Yes.
Slap it on. And you just know he's getting into arguments because they're showing up mid-tow. He's like, what do you want?
Yep, exactly.
What, you're going to sue me into you're going to sue me. Oh, okay. It's the 80s, so you can sue me now.
My tow trucks are being impounded.
I forgot suing was invented in 1978. This is my problem.
Clyde, we need you to rip down the fucking walls of this impound lot.
Well, that's the thing is like I'm undercutting you and I stole your business. What? You got something to say? I got my orangutan friend.
Oh,
that's true.
That's better than a gun. It's like a smart gun.
And I gave the orangutan a gun.
Do you like having your face connected to your ears? Because my friend Clyde feels differently about it.
It's very important we don't forget, because it is a running gag in this movie that pays off right here. When they make an escape out of the YWCA, like Eastwood and this woman climb out the window, and he peels out in his truck, and the cops are like, there he goes. Yeah. And they go to get in the car, and Clyde has taken his shit in this police car, and this dude sits in it. And man, your week is destroyed.
It is also funny that like they escape the YMCA or whatever, and these cops are like, that's them. Like, who cares?
What? I mean, like,
they're not in there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like, unless you want to question which you don't, is, hey, are you leaving of your own accord, kind of a thing to the lady?
Sure,
that's a reasonable thing.
We know Philo Beto, and
that's not none of the LAPD's business. Whatever the man wants to do, he'll let him do it. He's outside of the WYCA now.
Philo Beto's probably has got like that house is going to become a barbarian house soon enough.
I mean, it's pretty close. Yep. When he puts her to bed, he's like, all right, here's your extra guest room. I'm putting you in the shotgun room. There, did you notice that like next to her bed is a fucking wall unit with 4 shotguns in it?
Do you know why, dude?
Why is
because he's giving her his bedroom. That's what's insane about this. It's like, you can come to my house. He says, like, at the YWCA, we have an extra bedroom. Yeah. What he means is you can sleep in my room where there's multiple gun racks filled to the brim with fucking pump action shotguns, and I'm gonna go sleep out in the shed in a sleeping bag with my ape next to me. That is the arrangement that he's putting down.
With hay.
Yes.
Third floor with
some hay.
Some hay.
And that's what I mean by it's not exactly accurate to say you have an extra bedroom at the house. You have a house with as many bedrooms as you have, and then in the back there's a shed with a sleeping bag.
Well, he's not fussy, Andrew. So that's to tell you, like, he's a real man. He's not fussy. He will go sleep with his ape outside, even though he usually likes like a white noise machine. He likes having the bolt action rifle right next to his heart, just right there and feeling it there.
A sleeping ape's kind of a white noise machine, right? It's just a constant like breathing and fart.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, yep. And there's constant fear of it waking up and just beating the absolute shit out of you, right to death, maybe.
Dude, I'm gonna eat that like candy. Oh no, Clyde had a nightmare. Now I'm Mason Verger again.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Orville,
you're gonna miss the toe.
Now, Clyde, it's okay. Just help me find my rib cage. Just point me where you threw it.
But Chris, you keep saying that the ape watched, sure, because like he goes to sleep. He's like, all right, Clyde, let's get to bed.
Yep.
And I think in the first movie, there's a funny gag which is parodied in The Critic, which is like, somebody's next to me. Must be a beautiful woman. And he starts to make that's a Critic joke,
right?
But like, so we're replaying because again, this is like such a capital S sequel. Like so many gags are being replayed.
Totally.
Here he's sleeping. The monkey puts its arm around him. It's like, oh, LOL. But he likes it. So it's like, fine, whatever. Sandra Locke is like, room for one more.
Dude.
The monkey's arm is still there.
Yeah.
She goes in and we cut. I don't know what happened.
Wait, no. Excuse me.
It has.
Excuse me.
Please.
Monkey load.
Here's the thing. First of all,
Load.
Ape orangutan loads.
Many loads.
What is buzzing in? What is orangutan load?
One, you figure in this kind of scenario, it's like she's horny, so it's like, oh, gee, Philo, it's really cold in your bedroom. It's just me and all those soulless shotguns. Come make love to me.
Sure.
Not next to the orangutan. How
No.
about that, right? So there's that. But what happens, like you said, Steve, room for one more. She folds into this sleeping bag. He fucking leans over to this ape and goes, "No looking now."
Oh, does he say that?
Dude, no looking now. And then he tucks himself, he rolls over to start banging this, or maybe we're just getting some like digital manipulation or what, who knows?
Old Hollywood rules. If it's a hard cut with a couple going to bed, they fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like
in
They
front of this
fuck,
fucking
dude.
ape, and I thought it would be the weirdest scene in the movie, but boy was I wrong.
No.
That is yet to come in this fucking
Clyde, stop eating my ass while I'm pumping into her.
Wait a minute. No, stop. You should stop.
That should just be for me and you time. That shouldn't be an all three thing.
So they have like there's a weird. See, and this is why this doesn't make any sense. He does the whole like, no looking now. And then the next morning, when they've clearly already fucked, he's like, "Hey, get out of here, ape." And this is where it's like the Chimp Hall of Fame montage,
Yes.
where it's just like Clyde working in the backyard doing shit.
which I mean, again, thank you. That's what I bought a fucking ticket for.
But
Yes.
that's also, you cue this montage before the fucking.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So the audience isn't like, yeah, he was inside of that woman when the fucking ape was right there farting, right?
Oh yeah, and I don't think Clyde's a mischief maker. I don't think he took his suggestion. I think he looked.
I think
I'm gonna be
he's
honest with
peeking.
you.
That
I
ape
think
was
he's looking.
peeking.
I mean,
Definitely.
at that point, like literally on the menu of things that could have happened in that scene, the ape looking is on the low end.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the ape
Right.
is looking.
That's the least of your problems, dude. The ape looked at you? Yeah, least of your
It
problems.
definitely
just-
beat off, is what you're saying, at very least.
Look, I just like holding his hand while I do it. It's a confidence thing. I just like to know he's there.
Well, that actually
Buddies.
sounds kind of nice.
yeah.
Look, all I got here. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
All I got here is a sleeping bag and a minimal pile of hay. There's no headboard for support, so that's where Clyde comes in. He puts his arm up. I grab onto it for support, you see. So this is where Clint's out jogging in them slacks. And then here comes this fella out of nowhere, big buff dude, mustache, just goes, "Mind if I jog with you?" To which Eastwood replies a hearty, "Hell no."
Well,
And I thought this was about to turn into a different movie altogether.
Yeah, that they were going to find an underpass to fuck.
Yep. Or at least jerk each other off. Like,
Sure.
I don't have a lot of time, but, you know.
I'm sorry. We can't run together. You're not wearing jeans. You're wearing sweatpants. I don't know why anybody would do that while
It's
you're
fucked
running.
up. I mean, you're not getting the crotch, you know.
And it's like this weird thing where like they're running together and he's like, "Well, aren't you a big burly guy?" And he's like, "Well, I work behind a desk." He's like, "You lifting that desk, big man?" Like, I'm like, where is this going?
Exactly. Like, one of them says, like, "You work out, it seems."
Yes.
And then, in a move that would totally seal the deal, one would think, they're jogging along, you know. It's another construction
Yeah,
site
sure.
jog area here.
Sure.
This dude falls through the ground, like off the side of this cliff or whatever, and Eastwood helps him, like, "Well, the least I could do for a fella is jerk him off under that overpass." Like, it's just the way that this is played is so
Weird.
it doesn't play like I think they thought it played, or maybe it just played differently in
Because it was
1980.
supposed to play as like these are two burly dudes that respect each other's burliness, and like,
Yes.
wow, you're a built man, I'm a built man. Let's be built men together.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
in a mutual respect kind of a
Yes,
way.
absolutely.
Yeah, two regular heterosexual men who are jogging together and still support Eisenhower.
And you spot this William Smith actor here. He's been in everything you could
Yes.
think of. He was a Russian in Red Dawn.
Oh,
He
wow.
was a Russian in Bulletproof with Gary Busey. He's played heavies across like every fucking movie.
Wow.
Really quite a career. Conan's father and Conan the Barbarian. Just tons and tons of
Because
stuff.
he's an enormous dude. He
Yeah.
also, Jack Wilson, the character, and William Smith is the actor.
That's right.
He looks like he slept through a house fire a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
like he just
Yeah, a
kind of
little
like,
bit.
you know, just a house fire was happening. And he's like, whatever. I mean, he hit the snooze on that house.
Yeah, he
fire.
rolled right over.
The bare knuckle boxing works for him because
Yes.
he does looks right. And actually, it's worse when he like tries to wear a suit because you're like,
Yes.
that doesn't look right on
That's
you.
not- yeah.
That's not
But-
correct.
But don't you think with him in that suit, dude, he could be a goon in oh Lord now.
He looks like the dude, the mayor from Final Fight. Remember that video game where like there's 3 dudes, like 2 small karate guys, and one dude is the big hulking mayor.
I don't
And
remember
get
this.
Oh,
it's
you
a
get
great
to
game.
fight a mayor?
No, you get to be the mayor.
Oh
who
my
beats
god!
people up.
Oh,
yeah.
weird.
I get elected to Bruce.
You're Mr. Mayor.
Samurai Cop. That
Oh
could be
yes,
the-
yes.
I
Oh
see.
yeah.
That guy in a suit, he's a scuzzball at that restaurant in Samurai
I
Cop.
mean, he could walk into Samurai Cop, no problem. This guy,
Nobody would blink.
This probably got a Christmas card from Robert Zadar every year.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
They're buddies.
Absolutely.
From Clint too, I bet. I mean, that's the thing is you would assume that like because it's always talked in hushed tones, like oh Wilson, fucking, and
Yeah.
he shows up and like who's that guy?
Yeah.
Is this just his buddy that he's jogging with? And it's like I was expecting some like big bra like, and I guess
Yes.
that's supposed to be part of the joke or part of the naturalness of it. I guess
Exactly. It's just these are just dudes that eat steak at every meal.
I kind of wanted like who's the asshole in like Rocky V, the young guy he's training.
Tommy the Gun Morrison.
Tommy, like I was
Yeah.
expecting something like that.
But
Sure.
like he doesn't introduce himself at all. He's just like, hey, thanks, I owe you one, buddy. And he goes, and one could mean anything.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
owe you one. And he runs away, but you don't know
One
who he
shot
is.
in the mouth.
And we get this quick scene because we got to get back to the honky tonk, man. The bar has been away from the honky tonk for too long, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah.
There's a quick scene where Geoffrey Lewis is like, I don't want you fighting this guy. I did some sort of cursory research and it ain't no good. And he's like, I'll do as I please. He goes back to the honky tonk because I guess he owes Jack Wilson the beer is the idea.
No, I think he's just there, and Jack Wilson happens to be
gotta
there.
Yeah,
stare.
happens to be.
I gotta stare at that lady I'm starting to date again.
But it is this like what you realize after a fashion is he knows
Yes.
who Philo Beto is. Philo Beto knows that this is Jack Wilson because Clint Eastwood is in this bar for 15 seconds, and you better believe he's getting into a bar fight. Some drunk guy like makes fun of his lady friend's
Yes.
singing voice, like, now got some real singing up here. And it's like,
Yes.
oh yeah, you just signed your death
Well,
warrant.
no, it's actually Jack that escalates it.
Oh, does he?
He has to step in. Yeah.
He's like, oh, that's not very nice to say to a lady. And
Oh,
does the
right,
whole
right.
thing. And
And
like,
he's just like, leave it alone. You didn't. Now I have to fight everyone in the bar.
and we have to say, because Jack Wilson, a little different than Clint Eastwood, different style. He's doing some karate kicks.
We are
Yes,
getting
sir.
some kicks here, which is weird because you think that would come into play at the end. But this guy don't fight like me,
Yeah.
Orville.
Exactly.
No.
Now, and then it's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. He introduced a guy. I am Jack Wilson. I am the guy you're going to be fighting. And he's obviously I've been scouting you. And he's
It's
like,
interesting the way they do it because after the bar fight, Clint says to him, like, did you get what you came here for?
Yeah.
Like, I know you've been sizing me up, blah, blah, blah.
But he-
Well, I've been slowly poisoning you, Philo, so I did get what I wanted. Just it's in the bag now.
He tells him not to fight. I don't want to fight you. You don't want to fight me. It's going to be bad for you. And he's
Yeah.
like, well, I guess we'll find out. But then finally, Sondra Locke comes up to it. Is like, you shouldn't fight Jack Wilson. Apparently, he's maimed 5 people, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he's finally like, I guess if everyone's against it, hey, mafia guy, good thing you're back in my front yard again. Here's your money back.
Listen, I gotta beat him. Otherwise, I gotta keep on working for the marquee.
Yeah, and the mafia guy doesn't want to take it back. Okay, I'm going to hold it for you, but
Yeah.
the fight's still on.
Yes.
And then, of course, Eastwood has to be an asshole and escalate this by Clyde scrapped the caddy.
Well, because the guy on the way out kind of escalates it with like, oh, yeah, well, if you don't show up, there's guys coming back here that look just like me, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, let me guess, they're also going to be driving a Cadillac. So he makes
Fair.
this threat about
But-
the mafia coming back.
Listen, I mean, this is a pro mafia show.
That's always
Every time.
It has
Yep.
been
Oh, yeah.
since the start.
Sure.
And these are just men trying to, be symbols for the community, standing up for their,
It's kind of it's putting me in an awkward place. Mafia versus bare knuckle boxers. It's two groups I support
But the point
full-throatedly.
is, Chris, you do not as a man,
Sure.
or as anything,
Sure.
agree to something,
And
and then fucking back out of it, especially when money's on the. You've accepted $10,000 from the
Sure.
mafia. You are due. You need to honor that commitment.
Well, what if you're best buddies with the guy you're going to beat up, though, Eric? You
I
didn't
beat
know
up
it.
my friends all the time.
That's
Tune
true.
into the Glee Blonde
What about all the
series.
Yes.
But we're not talking about all the marketing costs the mafia has
Oh, yeah.
incurred already.
That's
The posters
actually
that they've
true.
printed, the
That's
t-shirts.
true.
That's like, but just the thing is like, it seems like what they're preparing for is a random event that
Yes.
will happen at some random place at some random time in
Correct.
the next month. Then we are going to somehow again, and we'll get into this when we get to the end, but like gonna get everybody there in
Yes.
like a minute.
Sure, but the point is, someone gives you $10,000.
Sure.
You say yes, sir.
Hey, he
That's
did.
what I mean.
I thought what we were going to have here was like, because they make such a big deal out of like, Clyde has to hide the money from Ma because
Yes.
Ma's got fast fingers and blah, blah, blah. I thought it was going to be a thing where he tries to give the money back and then it's like, uh-oh, Ma spent it all at the dog track or
Yes.
whatever.
And
and
now
then
he
it's
has.
like, you have to do it.
No, he gives him the money back.
He gives him the money back and it's like, you better fucking be there. I think it's a thing where it's like, you got to call the date and the location closer to the actual day it's going to happen. You can't announce it like an actual like sanctioned boxing match
Sure.
because the cops or the cops that don't have money on the fight might come in and break it up.
Well, you need like this was their. I mean, like these people, if they are putting in bets on bare knuckle boxing, I'm talking about the Jimmy and the New York guys. Like if they know that's happening, you've got to put somebody right next to Clyde and Philo all the time, ready to give you a phone call when the fight is going.
Yes.
Like, and just to make sure he's not fucking up anything. But of course, they don't think that far ahead.
So this is when the movie gets incredibly horny, and
Yes.
it comes out of nowhere. It really does.
Real
Like,
left field horn doggery.
because like you have the one sex scene or implied sex, you're like, whoa, that's wild. But like earlier in the movie, Clyde looks at a poster of some zoo orangutan that he wants to fuck, and Eastwood is like, well, we got to get my buddy laid. And I think this kind of ties into the first movie as well, where he goes to the
Right.
zoo. But I think in the first movie, he just goes in the zoo and fucks.
Yeah.
This one's like, she's coming with us.
Which, like, why do they need a bedroom?
Why do they need a banana with drugs in it to knock out this?
Because he's like, here. Clint Eastwood gives him this banana with like syringes and is like, this'll soften her up, buddy boy.
Could you do this for me, buddy? I'm not actually going to put the drug in the banana. I'm going to leave it to you.
Well, no, here's what it is. That's the backup, dude. The banana has been dosed.
oh, I see.
Because what happens is he's like, all right, Clyde, I guess this is what the screenwriters wanted to do. So this banana's doped, and you just got to throw it in the cage and give it to her. If that doesn't work, here's the syringe with the backup, and you just poke her and push down. And he explains all this, and then Clyde goes, got it, and injects himself with it and passes out.
It is insane.
No,
Really
this should be the monkey takes the syringe, he falls to the carpet, Lou Reed's Perfect Day starts playing. Open your eyes. How much did you take? How much? Open your eyes.
Philo is such a piece of shit. He knows he was in NA. Just to throw this shit at him like that.
But they go to this motel, and there's a horny motel. Well, first of two horny motel managers, which I think is too many. Who's like, and like Eastwood and Sondra Locke get a room, and then Clyde and this other orangutan get a room, and also wouldn't you know it, in the room over from there is Anne Ramsey and her husband.
Yes.
Loretta and Luther.
Yes.
And it is just the weirdest, most unsettling sequence of events. It's like, Lynn is like, what's all that noise? And he's like, oh, it's just Clyde putting on a show because they're getting down. And she's like, oh, those apes are going to get down in there, eh? Well, speaking of getting down, why don't you show off for me, Big Daddy? And like, it just cuts to Eastwood swinging from the chandelier in this motel room.
Nothing gets me turned on more than the sounds of apes.
I mean, like
just screaming and hooting.
Having two apes have their own hotel room, and they're just obviously trashing it.
Yeah.
and they're just gonna fucking piss and shit come all over this place. You need to burn
Absolutely.
this hotel room to the ground.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole motel, honestly, dude. Just take the whole place out.
Meanwhile, there's this sequence. I mean, somebody thought this was amazing. Where we're parodying the movie 10 with Bo Derek, where and like we're doing special effects where the ape's head is on a Bo Derek-esque body on the beach, and the Clyde is getting horny about it.
No, this is with people.
No,
Does it happen with the apes too?
Am I wrong?
The Bo Derek. Okay, so here's how I remember the Bo Derek thing. At the same time that this is all going on, Ruth Gordon is like, I have to get to my boys at the motel, and she steals the tow truck.
Of course,
Yeah.
And Ruth Gordon, so Ruth Gordon also gets, she descends on this motel where the cops are also on their way, and she sees the fucking motel manager peeping in a window at it's either the apes or the Ramseys fucking, or Eastwood and Lynn, whatever fucking. And she chastises, like, you're such a dirty old man there. Well, you know, they're trying to make some love. You're just such a gross man. And he turns and this guy looks at her.
Yes.
And he sees Bo Derek in 10.
God.
And then it turns into Ruth Gordon's face on Bo Derek's face.
Yes.
Jogging. And this dude's horny. And then she's fucking horny. So now this 3-way free-for-all became a 4-way fuck fest.
Right.
And I thought that this was just a bare-knuckle boxing movie with a chimp in it.
She had caught him watching folks make the humpity bumpity and kicks him in the nuts. And then she's like, oh, it's a live one.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be in the motel office if you want to fuck.
Yeah,
But we skipped ahead briefly. There was another encounter with the Nazi biker gang. I mean, the less said about them, the better. This is when he tricks them into riding their bikes into tar. There's like they're laying tar on the freeway.
Oh, yeah.
Tar shower.
Yes, and then it's like, I'm hardening, and they're freezing.
This is very weird. Like, they pull through. I've never seen a road paved like this where, like, it's a device shaped like a car wash.
Yes, exactly.
And it's just dribbling hot tar on the road.
You want it a little lower, I would say.
Yeah, like something like a 7-foot drop for hot tar while you're paving a
might
road
be
seems.
movie magic.
Look, I want them covered in tar.
He takes them.
I don't care how.
He takes him to the hospital, and it's like, can you remove that stuff? Yeah, we'll just peel them like a banana. Oh, so that hurts, huh? Yeah. Oh, good.
Wait a second. Oh, maybe I'll do that for myself. I do love pain.
Can you dip my dick and balls in tar?
Do you got any loose tar back there that I could buy off you?
Wait, let me drive a motorcycle under that there car wash of tar. Seemed stupid until
After that, he goes to Bakersfield, and then
the
get
mafia descends as well.
Yes.
That's what sends Ruth Gordon, because
and that's where the zoo is, where we're getting our. Everywhere they visit just has a zoo that they can take an ape from.
A sexy orangutan, Eric.
And then Geoffrey Lewis here also has to get in on it because he knows the cops are on the way to the motel. So he makes some crass remark and gets the cops to like race him to the motel.
Yeah, it took a Spider-Man one. Your girlfriend would like that. Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then they get real bad about it.
So it's like Beto can hear that there's cop shit afoot. It also spooks away the mafia.
I mean, the cops have Philo on ape sex trafficking for sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if this is across state line or like city lines or county lines.
He must be known by all zoo managers.
Yes,
that they're just rash
at the end
abductions.
At the end of the movie, the bad cop is like, "I'm gonna write you up and write up that ape because you don't have papers for her." Like, fucking finally, someone has the ape's welfare at hand.
To which Eastwood, I think, responds to that guy like, Clyde doesn't have an owner. He's a free person. And I was like, no, it's an animal.
Well, I mean, now we're just talking about the end credits because they beat that cop to half to death and they let him die in the desert as the end credits roll out.
I will be goddamned if you stop me from feeding this orangutan bacon and beer. I will die before I stop doing that.
Yes, every day the ape has violent diarrhea. What of it?
There's always a cop car. There's always somewhere for it to go.
But yeah, so like the cops break up. The mafia's about to get them, but then the cops come and sort of scare them off. Orville gets arrested because he disrespected the cop or whatever. They bail him out.
I love when he's getting arrested. What station? 4th Street Station? 4th Street Station!
Yeah, totally. Let me know where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Go post that bail.
They bail him out, and this is when the mafia gets them again. And this is when it gets
Lynn
serious.
gets kidnapped here. They set the truck on fire. This is where Clyde saves him from the burning wreckage or whatever. And my question is just
By the way, it's in the zoo parking lot.
Yes.
They were returning
Yes.
the used ape.
this goes into my question. Does no one work at the Bakersfield?
I know, it's-
Zoo?
No.
What are we doing? Like, and here's the thing too, right? You always hear about like, oh man, it's so hard to get animals to reproduce in captivity. I would imagine, like, wouldn't there be some program where it's like, yeah, bring your chimp in or bring your orangutan in and get fucking. See, all on the up and up. None of the stealing and drugging animals.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you wouldn't drug the animal.
Yeah.
Sign up here for our mating classes.
But so like,
The mafia calls up and they're like, hey, we got your lady.
yes.
He demands proof of life, and then it's like, all right, like I will fight to get her back.
We're in Jackson Hill, Wyoming, and this is when the movie really becomes Mad Mad World, because we're introduced to all these groups of gamblers, one of which is the Colonel from War Games.
Yes.
And
yes.
Julie Brown in her first appearance, by the way.
Julie Brown, really?
Yeah, she's one of like the
gambling babes.
Yes.
Because it is just like, you don't know anything about these people other than they are on like a rich fucking months-long drug and booze-filled orgy of some kind.
Yes.
You kind of want that movie.
You do.
What are all these rich people doing with these babes?
Well, this guy has a job. One of the people he's hanging out with has the job I most want, which is a bare knuckle boxing expert. A guy who just has it at his command, the facts of the bare knuckle boxing world up to date. Like he has his connections. He's probably making like 17 phone calls from a payphone in the morning, just checking up on bare knuckle boxing prospects.
Well, I think you're supposed to believe. I mean, these are like hardcore gamblers because the mafia guy calls up and he's like, "Hey, just wanted to let you know, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, big fucking bare knuckle boxing fight going down. I know how much you love gambling. Get in on it."
It would be so great if we could go back. If rich people would go back to putting their money into this rather than buying the Supreme Court, that would be so fucking phenomenal.
Yep.
That would be so good.
This is Barry Corbin, also of what do you call it there? No Country for Old Men fame, etc.
My guy.
Yellowstone now is an old man. Yes, he's been around forever. He's always a pleasure when he pops up in a movie.
Grandpappy Yellowstone.
Oh, is that right?
I think so.
So is he like who Harrison Ford was playing, dude?
No, I don't think so.
I don't. Think
I don't know how that
so.
cowboy show works.
I think Harrison Ford was in like the
1890s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something.
right.
He's
it's
playing a character
1888.
named Fat Zach, by the way.
Oh,
Great
this movie-
character.
Yes, Fat Zach.
And when Fat
absolutely.
Zach flies in from Dallas or Kansas City or wherever, he's got this private plane and he's flying it upside down. They're flying it upside down. And they're
Dude.
having a laugh.
There's a real wild line here where they're doing that and it's like, ha ha ha, we're flying the plane upside down. We've been doing so for a long time, it seems.
Right.
And the lady's like, we got to write the plane. I want to have some of the champagne. And then like some Monopoly guy looking motherfucker's like, oh yeah, well you can drink upside down, watch. And he does it. And she's like, oh, that's great. And he goes, oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do upside down. And the whole plane starts laughing. We're going to fuck upside down.
So you want to fuck me now? Come on, let's all fuck.
We even get like guys at the airport. I think Art LaFleur plays one.
Art
of the
LaFleur is
bag
definitely in
jams.
this movie. Yeah.
Being like, what the hell's with that plane? And then
Yes.
we cut into the plane and we get our shenanigans.
And the whole town is abuzz with this fight. There's old ladies sizing up Philo. By the way, Philo and Clyde and Orville check into another motel. Here's your second horny motel manager who
Yes.
winds up because Clyde is dressed up like a lady and he's like,
Yes.
ooh, I like that lady. And he flashes her. Or
And then
him, rather.
Clyde flashes him back, and
Yes.
the dude is like, "Oh no, wires are getting crossed. This is weird, but not as weird as it should be."
'Cause
And
he-
Hortens.
when they're initially checking in, he sees the ape in Ruth Gordon's clothes.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, you blood relation? Yeah, it's like my mother or whatever. You should think twice about having children. But then he's super horny for
Yeah.
presumably the hairy mother.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
He's
and
ready to go to town.
That's when he flashes.
See, I'm really into procreation sciences, and I gotta make sure that we have the best offspring possible for the future of our civilization. You should not fuck anybody.
Philo goes for another jog here, and then Jack Wilson is like, "Oh, hey man, how's it going?" And he's like, "Yeah, you work for some weird people." And he's like, "I had nothing to do with it." And blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then they team up.
They team up because when he's like, look, man, I'm a bare knuckle boxer. I travel all over the country, bare knuckle boxing and whatnot, but I draw the line at kidnapping ladies. Like he's like, I'm not down with what they've done here. So yes, we will team up and get these dudes whatever. Now the old ladies here, I had a question about the old ladies. This is 1979. The actresses seem like they're just the slightest bit kind of aged up, like playing a little bit fuddy-duddy kind of.
Right.
Did these ladies not remind you just the littlest bit of the two little old ladies in Dunstan Checks In that are also boozy and weird?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
I wondered.
It's a grand tradition of orangutan movies.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I wondered if it was some kind of reference, not necessarily that the same people. Maybe they are, but I thought a bit like it's like the old guys in oh Lord Almighty, of course, Trading Places.
Oh yeah.
Who show up in
Yes.
other motion pictures and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I wondered if it was kind of
Maybe a cinematic universe.
that grand
Yeah.
tradition of
Well, it's-
movie comedy weirdness.
The thing is, like, having an ape in a movie is just so like, whoa, what? And then pairing that with like dusty old people. That's like the people who would be most offended by it. Yet they don't even really get into any encounters with the ape, which is unfortunate. I would love to see Clyde maybe strip these women down.
What, really? Finish your
Please,
thought.
go on.
Please.
Like a car. I think. Rip
Scrap
her
'em?
arm.
You want to scrap 'em?
Rip her
Okay.
arm off. Take out her spine like you're fucking doing a fatality.
They're not crash test dummies. These are
They
people.
will be when we're done with them.
Well, that's like the thing with something like you can't have an outright dowager coming to the bare knuckle boxing fight. So you have to have this version of the old lady. Like, I put on. Although it would be funny if just like a palanquin comes in, some ladies watching the fight from.
Absolutely,
That'd be great.
everybody in the world loves bare knuckle boxing.
I'd be up for that.
But that's the thing is, this is when the movie kind of just takes a turn, and Clyde is barely involved.
Yeah.
You know,
He's
like,
nowhere to
Kind
be
of
found.
gets a bit dull in this
it
portion.
does. It just they save Lynn from these mobsters. Like everybody gets beaten up, and Jack Wilson's like, you better get going to this. You go to the drive to the coast until you see the water. It's like, all right, but they're not going to do that.
no,
Yeah,
And
got a
also-
movie to make here.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to mention them because they are omnipresent throughout the film. We've barely discussed them, but the Black Widows are also
Yes.
in Jackson Hole.
But they
now
get
have-
wrapped up. Dude, the allure of gambling, such as it is, they
they love
forget
it.
all about their hatred of Philo long enough to be like, we could actually make some money off this guy.
Their
And it's for-
crippling gambling addiction outranks like the white supremacy and grudgery. yes.
exactly. Because
And
the
they're-
guy, I think the leader is like, oh, I actually bet on Philo to win this thing.
But they are in bald caps now.
Yes.
These bald caps look awful,
They
and
do.
they're wearing fake wigs on top of it. At one point, a Wyoming state trooper pulls them over, and it's just like, I'll give you a ticket. Oh, you got enough problems.
What's his line? He goes, well, the only law you're breaking is the laws of nature, and we ain't around to enforce those. T-hat.
Yeah.
A wig on a man. I just can't.
What are we in Parliament of England?
I mean, we are wearing clown wigs, guys.
Yes,
it's not just a
yes.
Geoffrey Lewis rug.
It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Look,
a
you're-
wig on a man.
You're a fucking Wyoming state trooper, dude. Your
Yeah.
life is about as
wait.
boring as it gets.
What? You're telling me there's guys who do this for a clown, you say? I've never heard of such a
Wow.
thing. A clown?
One of the oldest entertainment forms in the world, you're saying, eh?
Well, they must be great because this is the funniest fucking thing I ever seen.
And these scenes with the mafia talking about the money and the gambling and laying on the bets and laying off the bets. It's 20 minutes.
Yep.
It just spread it between the movie. We keep cutting back, and the money gets higher, and the mafia gets. These two dudes get more and more in deep, and then finally, after the kidnapping scheme, Jack and Philo call off the fight. It's
Right.
like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And then somebody realizes 20 minutes left, so they fight in a barn because of respect.
This is a weird thing where it's like the whole thing is off, and it's like, it's whatever point such as it is where everybody can get their money back from, placing the bets on the fight. And then they're just in this barn and he's like, well, we saved the day, didn't we? Yes, we did. But, you still want to know, right? Yeah, I still want to know. And it's just like, we're going to fight for each other in this barn. Keep it on the down low.
Yes.
Kind of like we're fucking jerking each other off under an overpass here. Like you want to just find out.
Yeah.
Well, the studio said we have to have a winner. That the audiences will rebel if it's two guys who just have a handshake.
Because I think they were anticipating degenerate gambling in the audience at the theater.
Of course.
We're going to be gambling to see if Clint beats this guy.
And this is the very long street fight sequence. It has its ups and downs.
30 minutes before people's money would be refunded, and somehow people start just, I guess, telephone game. Yeah, like, oh, they're fighting. Oh, get on the phone to Fat Zach or whatever. Fat Zach taxiing the plane pulls it over to go back and watch
into the street.
This is sort of also a Mad World thing where everyone's rushing back
to the one
see
place.
This. And yes, now the street fight sequence commences across all of downtown Jacksonville.
It's nuns, it's police officers, the Iron Giant. Everybody's coming to see the big Philo fight.
Dude. Alex and his droogs are all there. Jack Nicholson,
Tony Soprano, and the boys. They're putting money down.
See, it takes place in Space Jam.
Yeah, Charles Foster Kane was in attendance. Totally.
He bets his newspaper on it.
And the fight's fun. I mean, it's just a lot. Again, no one's blocking. It's just, I'm going to punch you in the face and you punch me in the face. How does that sound?
Yeah, I mean, because I think, dude, the true block in bare knuckle boxing is a dodge.
Got it.
Because, like, a block in boxing, you got them gloves and you hope that his fists hit the gloves.
Yeah, sure.
What your fist getting, his fist into your wrist, that's still fucking you up.
Yeah.
But
I don't think there is blocking.
No, Philo he eats it like candy, like Homer Simpson as a boxer,
That's
getting
right.
punched and punched and punched.
Well, I don't know, Wilson. I bought some new super tight jeans to jog in before we start the fight. I'm bleeding already, buddy. It's all red down there.
Good on him, dude.
I'll scare you. That's right.
It's strategy.
You want to start fighting me? I got no nuts left.
I'm rubbed raw as it is.
Let's go already.
I have nothing to lose as in my nuts.
This fight gets wild, though, because, I don't know, at one point, we're breaking into a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, they crash into a restaurant, and, the crowd of people following them follows them into the restaurant. This is just a disaster.
And
This town is destroyed.
They keep stopping, wow, this is some fight. Yes, it is. Want to keep going?
There's
Absolutely.
one part, dude, the halftime show for bare knuckle boxing is what you want, because it's just these two fellas, these warriors in their prime, sitting back against a fucking warehouse loading dock. Just out of nowhere, someone's got beers ready to go. Eastwood's chugging this beer.
Hey, it's a party. That doesn't have to make sense.
Dude,
Yes.
that's exactly what it is. Out of nowhere, he's just got this tall boy.
It's great.
Oh, man, I love it.
As you mentioned earlier, yes, the Black Widows had bet on Philo, and there was a mafia was going to try to assassinate him to end the fight, and the Nazis defeat the Italians, and
That's backwards, man. I mean, in terms, I just mean in terms of who I, as an audience member, should be rooting for.
Yeah.
Always root for the mafia over Nazis. My
100%.
God.
Of course.
I root for mafia over the Catholic Church at this point.
I root for the mafia over anything.
I forget, where are the cowboys in this? Because I know they're also cowboys there. I know the nuns are fighting as well.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of spread out.
That's okay.
The Cowboys aren't a big enough group to get their own subplot.
Here's the thing. It's I guess because it's bare knuckle boxing rules, assassinations are okay.
Yeah, I mean, that would-
mid fight
They were
assassination.
just going to shoot him in the back. It's
they
not
shoot
even
him-
elegant.
And if you shoot him in the back, I don't know, then you lose your bet anyway. You've interfered.
You know
He
what?
can't be called on account of assassination.
Bring back that drug that knocks out apes or something.
Oh,
Maybe
nice.
there's another syringe and the mafia finds it in their stuff. They use this to fuck with apes.
Actually, dude,
And just knock them out.
somewhere somebody should have got stuck in the butt with one of those, right?
Absolutely.
That sounds like Orville. Orville should get one of those right in the fuck.
And then you could do like eyes crossed.
Just
Yes.
because it doesn't matter. Orville got shot in the kidnapping scene.
Yes.
And he's just like, now I get to bed pretty nurses with my enormous wig on.
Yeah.
Now I get to not be in the movie.
Exactly.
Honestly,
Yep.
very disappointing lack of Geoffrey Lewis in
For
this
sure.
movie.
And then, like, in sort of the climax of this, Jack Wilson kind of awesomely breaks Clint Eastwood's arm. Like, this is the only time he does a kick because Clint Eastwood's like leaning on something, and Jack Wilson just fucking snaps his arm.
It's nasty, man. I feel like, even though we're fucking bare knuckle boxing, that's against the rules.
Yeah.
And, so Wilson's like, it's over. It's broken. It's over. And it's like, yeah, but Jack Wilson, you forgot one thing, motherfucker. You're fighting movie star Clint Eastwood. So it's one-arm boxing time.
Yes.
And he defeats this dude with one hand because literally the other one is fucking broken. Unbelievable. But this is like a series of Johnny Cage-esque uppercuts Eastwood is doing to this guy repeatedly back to back.
And he wins, and then, like, we're still best buds, right? Like, you know it. I would be like, why'd you fucking break my arm, dude? Like, I respected you a lot more before that.
There were plenty of I'm just saying, Jack, there were plenty of opportunities for me to stomp on your wrist, and I didn't do it.
And you know it's illegal. Set fire to me all you want. You can't break my arm in the middle of a bare knuckle boxing fight.
Fuck, who's gonna pay for my physical therapy? This is gonna take a while to recover from.
God, I'm gonna be on the phone with United for fucking 5 hours.
Oh, like he has insurance.
And honestly, this is a movie that needs to end with like,
Oh my god,
they're shaking hands.
Period.
Yes.
I think it might still be going. In some universes, this movie is still playing from 1980. But like, when your fight is over with and the two combatants shake hands and
Yes.
the crowd is cheering and the chimp comes back in with Geoffrey Lewis, like, there it is. You've assembled the whole cast.
Yep.
Yes.
That's the end of the movie. And instead it's like, we see him saying goodbye to the Nazis. Bye-bye, best friends. Oh, thanks for the $40 you owed me.
Oh, really? Himmler owned this? Oh, wow. I'm taking this home.
I'm running for mayor soon, so thanks for the support. Yeah, totally. But Orville's like, oh, I'm staying in Jackson Hall. There's a bunch of pussy I haven't harassed.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, he's hanging back there or whatever. And then, like, they're just getting back on the road. And it's like, then they get fucking pulled over by one of the cops from the first fight.
Right.
And you're just like,
And
man, I was there.
Presumably, I guess they're in Death Valley now because this guy was supposed to
Yes.
be reassigned there for losing the money on the bet for Philo at the start.
And with that $10,000 that he got from this bet, he could not fix the turn signal on his fucking car. So he's had this ape do the whole time, right signal, Clyde.
Yep.
So, of course, and this has been the bit the whole time.
Yep.
The cop is up against Clyde. Right signal, Clyde knocks him out.
Yep.
That Clyde is going to be hunted down by the LAPD.
that is a
and
cop
stomped to
killer.
death.
That is, you
Or
punch,
the Wyoming PD, sorry.
you punch a man straight in the face with the force of an ape.
Forget it.
You're done, dude.
The nose is going right into the brain. It's over.
yes.
I think that's why, because this is before like
drive
dash
away.
cams and whatnot. It's like, all right, Clyde, now you got to finish the job. I'm not pulling over again. You got to kill this guy, and it's like
Heart rip, Clyde.
Yep, totally, dude. Heart rip Clyde.
Eat the
indeed.
body, Clyde.
And the only person we don't check back in on with Ruth is Ruth Gordon. I think she's still just cum drunk at that motel.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Mom,
That's the
you
end of
dead? Mom, are you okay, I think she's dead.
All right, good. One less character for the third of these if we make them.
I will say I have been to this cowboy bar they're at the end.
What, really?
In Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I was at a wedding there, and they took us out there. It is just as awesome as it looks. Glenn Campbell was not playing the night we were there, sadly to say. But it's a real nice. It's the $1 Million Cowboy Bar. It's a real fun time if you ever go there.
I like that. Yeah, just fucking onward, Clyde. Here we go. On to the next adventure that
Well,
didn't happen.
Sadly not. Even though this was a box office fucking sensation. At top of the box office the weekend it came out, $8 million in back then money.
Right,
big
1980
time.
money. That's
There's-
not too shabby.
They say I'm torturing you. That apes shouldn't be in movies until it's the 90s and you're with kids.
Listen, we beat one ape to death, but we got the other one. We treated the other one okay on the press tour.
2 movies, 1 dead ape. Not too shabby.
Oh man, but that is the end of this movie, and this was the end of the road for Philo and Clyde. Kind of stunning, and correct me if I'm wrong, this wasn't adapted into like a worse TV show.
Yeah.
Because we would
Give
do a
it
lot
time.
of that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I think BJ and the Bear was just sort of like
That was
doing
there.
It was doing it without doing it, kind of a thing, without paying the rights, kind of a
Sure.
deal.
Yeah, that's true. Was he a bare knuckle boxer on that show?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I
I
hope.
don't know, but William Smith did appear in 2 episodes. So,
Of
he
BJ
played-
and the Bear?
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently. I was looking at his
Wow.
IMDb. Already.
Oh,
Nice.
But that is the end of this movie. Any which way you can. We'll do some recommendations and final thoughts here. Eric Siska.
Yes. Okay. So this movie is not that great. The first movie, I think, is actually a lot more fun. I would say it's sort of a light recommend, but what you should do, watch the first movie every which way but loose. Put this on afterwards and fall asleep during it.
There, perfect.
Yeah.
I would say if you've seen the first one and you haven't followed up on the next part of the adventure, okay. But I found this to be pretty boring and it's a mad world. And I don't know. Again, just these kind of 8 movies, man. This movie took a life, and I can't fucking abide by that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I mean, it's tragic. Honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
We joke around here, but it is actually abhorrent what happened.
Totally. Chris Cabin.
It's a light recommend for me. Like, I mostly because like you don't get movies like this anymore. Like the Hangout vibe, I think, is pretty impeccable. You can't really beat it. And but like, of course, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider. Of course, the ape death, orangutan death, and all that stuff. But like a bare knuckle boxing movie, like a comedy based on bare knuckle boxing with an ape. It's just such a nuts thing that I'm like, you kind of have to see it to believe it. But I will admit, the first one is much better.
Yeah. Steve Sadak.
Yeah, it's not a recommend for me because I do think the first one is much better, and you could just watch that instead of this one. And
It's pretty much the same thing.
This has all this soggy stuff towards the end, and not enough monkey antics. To be quite honest,
That's right.
That's what I'm here for. I want more monkey antics. It's a fun, but it's a light not recommend. It's not like a disaster. You could totally put this on. Good hangover vibes here for sure.
Oh, sure. You can smell the fucking Coors Light coming off the screen.
Because it's got like lo-fi like music, a lot of it. So, which is actually pretty good. I mean, good in that.
Glenn Campbell did the theme song.
I mean, most of the songs on the soundtrack are pretty fucking righteous, and I actually think that's like the best part of the movie is like we're at the honky tonk listening, and it's I think the movie at least kind of knows that a little bit because it holds on all of these performances.
Yes.
You get the full song. The characters leave the bar, and Fats Domino keeps playing, kind of.
Sure.
Thing. Yeah. But that is going to do it, folks. If you want more ape-related hijinks, head on over to patreon.com/WeHateMovies.
Too much ape-related hijinks. We got an animation damnation on the Donkey Kong cartoon, which is absolutely abhorrent.
Oh, real bad. We came as close as we could on the Gleep glossary to talking about an ape-type person.
Yeah, we already did Chewbacca and Lobaka. I thought those were kind of ape people. But we did Wicket, the Ewok, on the Gleep glossary. A lot of fun. It's a live studio audience talk show. We record downtown these
That's right.
days.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So check that out.
Talked about the little hairy man. Once in a lifetime, we're talking about another hairy little man.
Oh, yeah.
Spy mate, a spy monkey who helps. I guess like Emma Roberts barely in that fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yes,
In that ape movie, we were like, "Where's Emma Roberts?"
Yeah.
But that's a weird. She's a little kid scientist, and he's the ape trying to.
But hey,
save her.
Richard Kind is a Bond villain, so
That's
watch Spy Mate and listen to us
Strange.
talk about it on
That
Patreon.
is true. And of course, all of our non-ape related sideshows, of course, Melrose 2.0 and the Nexus.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, the Mandalorian Half Hour. We've been recapping that entire season here. And as of this coming out, in just a few days, we'll be recapping the last episode, if you can even believe that season's already over with. But speaking of almost already over with, APE-ril, such as it is coming to an end next week with one last aperific suggestions. Steve, what are we doing?
Well, we're going into the future here. We've had far too many real apes. I'm so sick and tired of actually looking at light hitting things, Chris
Yes.
Cabin.
Yeah.
I need to see CGI apes all, as far as I can see, in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's Rampage.
Yes.
2018.
Oh, yes.
We are breaking that sort of quasi 10-year rule because it's ape month. It's April. We're going ape shit. We're going bananas.
That's
so
right.
you break a rule when you do it. Apes break rules.
They do.
I was actually nervous when we picked it. I was like, is there enough ape in that movie? And the answer is absolutely yes.
Quite a lot.
Absolutely, man. And I'm very excited to talk about that movie next week. Kind of more excited than I thought I'd ever be about the Rampage movie. But that's life, folks. So until next week, when we're talking video game adaptation Rampage, I've been Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Eric Sisko.
Chris Cabin.
Take it easy.
That was a headgum podcast.